This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Colby Valve.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 455, Hypothetical Rigs from Copart.
Tonight, Aaron squeals, Coy teaches his dog to fly, and Ben recovers a Jeep.
What?
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, new products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben, and welcome to the Off-Road Podcast. So, Aaron, I gotta hear you squeal.
Well, it's not me that's squealing. I took my car off the road because somehow one of the front brake calipers is sticking, or the springs fell out, and it drug the one side brake pad against the rotor so much that it's down to metal on metal. Front passenger. So I took that car off the road and I'm driving my Nissan, which is good. I'm getting some seat time behind it. I'm pushing it hard, trying to make sure that things are working. And we got lifted Xterra in the comments, and we're going to be talking about you in just a little bit. So just buckle up, Buttercup. Now that my exhaust is fixed on the Frontier, I can actually hear things while I drive it. It turns out it's also dragging a caliper somehow stuck, and I've ruined a rotor on the Frontier as well. So, yeah, that is my band name, Metal on Metal.
It's almost like doing 80 miles an hour on your very, very long gravel road is hard on your brakes somehow.
It could be. It could be. Yeah. So, yeah. I was hard on the gravel road today. It's all for scientific testing, of course. I'm trying to see if my truck is going to trip or doing the weird ECU things I've been having issues with.
So what you're saying is if it shifts, it drifts.
It does all those things. So Lifted Xterra says, why am I not getting video? I don't know. Maybe turn it off and turn it back on again. None of us are IT folks, so sorry.
I'm assuming
about
he's
that.
asking why he's not getting video of you on this gravel road. And that's a thing called plausible deniability.
100%. Yes. I may be friends with some of the local law enforcement, but not all of them. So beyond that, let's see here. Scrolling. Here we go. Here's a picture of my trailer. You guys saw last week that those front black panels were red with the primer paint. They're now painted with a nice enamel, flat black enamel, Rust-Oleum. Looks really sharp. And as you can see, the rest of my trailer's not looking so hot now that those are painted really nice. So I think I'm going to take my trailer and pressure wash it and just start painting everything. So
what color are you going to go with?
Well, the black will continue to be black. I may keep it forest green on the sides. I don't know. You have any thoughts?
White.
No. Not for camping.
I say you color match it to the Frontier or the F-150.
Or the F-150. Well, I'm going to use off the shelf paint. Like I'm literally using a Rust-Oleum enamel paint.
Yeah, but you can usually get pretty close.
There's probably a blue. I know there's a forest green, and I like this look of the green. It is reminiscent of what this truck used to be and do, or this truck box, I should say.
I say you get like a hammered gray. Rust-Oleum makes that hammered look one. So Have you seen that? I'd say do it in gray. Hammered gives it kind of a nice texture as well.
I actually have the inside of all of those doors in hammered. It's either gray or silver. It's a Rust-Oleum hammered paint, and it's on the inside of all the doors when you open them. I think it's silver because Lifted Xterra says to do Raptor liner. I'm just doing it on the cheap. Who knows how much longer this trailer is going to last with the way I use it.
Let's use it.
use it.
Abuse it.
Abuse is part of how I use things, so it's just kind of accepted that when I use something, it's being abused.
It's not
Yeah.
abuse if they like it. So
Yeah, my trailer likes to be tipped over or blown up into the air, or
Axles
it does all
flying
those things. Yeah. $400. No, a can of paint of this paint that I use, which would do the whole trailer, is like $16. So a lot of savings there.
I will say, have you tried one of those Rust-Oleum cans that are like 2.5 feet long? Those giant ones.
The jet ones.
I bought
I
one.
haven't.
They are
Yeah.
as awesome as you think. It
Wow.
was so overkill for what I was doing. They're pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Yes, Pete, you were stuck.
Leroy Overlanding says oil-based Rust-Oleum and play sand, best cheapest solution I've found so far. That's exactly what I'm using, is the oil-based Rust-Oleum. That's why, where is it? There, you can see it on my arm right here. And then
I'm
it's
confused
also
what the play sand
right
is for.
there to give it texture,
Texture, yeah.
like a Raptor liner.
like a grip.
Yeah,
Where you just throw the sand on wet paint and then spray over it again.
I'm guessing, but I don't need it. I don't need a texture. And honestly, I have the inside of the bed on that trailer with a truck bed liner.
I'm just
And
thinking though, maybe you should do it in a no slip with sand grip and a little walnut shell or something, because next time you have it on its side and you have to crawl up on top of it to do something with the tin or something, you could slip on fresh paint. Like, especially hammered can get slippery. So
it's true.
yeah. And
I mean,
if you have a textured, more aggressive paint, I feel like it will roll less times because that's more friction against the ground.
I
Actually a performance.
I've only rolled it one time, and it's 16 inches wider now than when I rolled it before. So I don't think that I think I need to worry about that. So I have the inside bed area of that trailer as a truck bed liner, and it is so rough in there because you have to climb in on your hands and knees. If you're wearing shorts, your knees are going to be bleeding by the time you're done crawling in and out of it.
So you did it wrong.
And well, it was just the brand that I bought. It was a Herculiner.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, that stuff is so hard to get clean. It just holds the dirt. So I'd like something smooth. I'm going smooth. I know you can smooth Raptor line it, but
yeah, it's all about how you do it.
Yeah. Well, Josh, maybe I'll just fly you out here and you can help me paint it. I'll let you sleep in my shop, in the rooftop tent on the trailer as you paint it. So
that way
you can have some really good dreams. Who did we hear from? Or is it just me so far this whole time?
You.
Just you.
Just me. All right. Well, Coy, you're up.
Well, I went camping, guys. But I didn't do it like real camping. I went to a state park up in Detroit, and we brought our tent trailer and one of my kind of friends of ours, but we became friends because our sons are best friends. So they have like a brand new full size camper, and I didn't mind it. We just sat around the lake all weekend. He has an outdoor TV on the side of his camper, and he ordered the UFC 300. So we're sitting in the campground, had 2 propane fire pits going, watching UFC 300 on the side of his RV. It was, it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that, even though it was hardcore glamping and not off-roady or overlandy at all. And then I threw my dog from the top rope this weekend. I feel bad. I'm going to tattle on myself as a dog torturer at this point. We walked with our kids on Sunday, right before we were about to leave, to this big playground area. And it's got, all these steps and stairs, and you go up and there's different slides. And our dog's not afraid of that kind of stuff. It's running around up there. And my kids are playing. And eventually I walk up there with them. And my daughter's like halfway down the slide. and the dog's kind of standing at the slide. Top of the slide is one of those curl slides, but not the tube
Uh-huh.
ones, just open.
Yeah.
So it's really narrow. I'm blocking the backup route for the dog. So I'm like, I'm going to make the dog go down the slide.
Yeah, of course.
So I kind of bump up. My daughter's like, no, don't make the make the dog come down on top of me. And she was trying to come back up. I was like, oh, and she just gets to the edge of the slide, puts her front paws on it. It's a little wet and slippery, and just leaps, not off of the entire playground, 8 feet in the air, full.
Oh my.
Launches itself off like it's not scared of anything. You can shoot guns by it, rev motors, everything. Like it doesn't ever flinch or yelp or anything. Not cool once it stood on that plastic slippery side. Launches itself, but the launch was bad because its front feet clearly slipped, but its back were still on the grippy rubber metal part. Just does a 180, flat backs it straight into the bark dust. Just oof,
Woof.
just knock the wind out. My kids, I thought my under 10 age of 10 children were going to fight me. My daughter was screaming at me, what if that was me? Stuff like that.
What if that was me? What?
Like, what if I just threw her off the top of a playground, like I beat them or something. So I felt pretty bad. It appears the dog is totally fine. It yelped and ran around. It's a little scared of me for a minute, but it didn't want to go back on the playground set anymore. So apparently I gave it a little bit of trauma, but I didn't try to. I didn't do it on purpose.
That's funny. So when are you buying a trailer?
Oh man, I don't know.
Like you've got this whole story about the dog, and all I can think about is when are you buying a trailer?
So I've actually been, me and my wife been talking about getting rid of our camp trailer. We're just kind of outgrowing it at this point. And I'm not going to go full big dog trailer. I want to do that medium trailer setup, something in between kind of. I can't remember the brand, but there's one that it's almost like a big utility trailer. You could park a side-by-side in it, but it still has some beds and stuff. Kind of a bare bones toy hauler type thing. I don't know. They're like 16 feet long, real small.
Ooh,
So I might go. Yeah, maybe it's longer than that, but they're small.
That's smaller than your tent trailer once it's popped up.
Yeah, it's probably bigger than that then.
Okay, all right. Are you drinking urine?
Yes.
It looks very yellow when you hold that up.
It's
I'm guessing it's the green screen, but
it's Gatorade.
Green Gatorade.
The healthy option.
Leroy Engineering says something small, a tandem axle pusher toy hauler. Don't think that I don't look at semis.
Right.
So every, like all of us here on the podcast and in the comments, every morning at work, my boss pays for me to check Facebook Marketplace for deals for about 20 minutes. So
that's awful nice of him.
It's part of my contract. It's in the deal. So pretty much every day, man, that there's been several that I almost convinced my wife of this one real nice 4-seater Freightliner straight front, but one of these days.
Yeah. Well, just make sure that it'll fit a side by side, because some of them fit like dirt bikes or quads, but aren't big enough for a side by side.
Well, I'm not there yet, but it's in the talking stage with the wife. So
yeah.
What about you, Ben? I know you did some cool stuff.
Yeah, I've had last week I was pretty busy with work. I started subbing too, like recess attendant and all that. So I've been busy, but I decided last minute that I would
wait, hang on a second.
Yeah, we got to back up.
You just glossed over some stuff there. You're a substitute recess attendant? Like that's legal?
Yeah. Yes. Well, hey, I take the kids home. I might as well be at their playground yelling at them too. Like, I as if I don't yell at children enough, they're letting me yell at them even more. Hey, stay over here. Don't go over there. Little Jimmy, quit pulling Lucy's hair type stuff.
I want to point out that when your teacher probably at some point in middle school told you that recess is not a job, you should get a hold of her and let her know that you're now getting paid to do recess.
Yes, I should. Yeah. So I picked up that to do in between shifts just to, pick up some extra money. And the middle school really needs it right now. They had something like a fight every day for like a month and a half.
Whoa.
And this is like 6th, 7th,
Compton?
and 8th graders. Nah, this is a country, I guess. I don't know. These kids are just brawling all the time. There was like 4 fights in one day. And so obviously they need some male role models around there
Yeah, they do.
to yell at them and tell them to knock it off and go back to class or eat their damn lunches.
You need to start a fight club there and be like, look, a fight every day means nobody's really getting hurt and people aren't scared to fight. So here's what we're going to do, and start really, teaching them the ways.
Yeah, it
Go
probably.
Mr. Miyagi on them.
What I'm excited about is Ben's going to be bankrolling his Forerunner here any day now with everything, all this money he's bringing in.
Yeah, it's more money, and I'm not complaining, and neither is the wife.
I'm still pointing out, like, the Moab trip should be like you're banking hours in. I think you should be on this Moab trip. Like, you're still alive.
The problem is
really hard this year.
It's during the school week, and that we go back in August. So
all these are solvable problems. You can pay somebody to take your kids to school on a school week.
Outside of that, so I've been working a lot, and it was my birthday week, and the wife was like, "Hey, I saw you have this on this event on the calendar. Are you going?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to." And she's like, "Well, if you want to go, you can just go." Like, I was like, "Do any of you want to come with?" And they're like, "No, just go, get out of here." So I went,
Nice.
and so I went down to. It's in Glenwood, Washington, which is closer for you guys than it is me. It's you go down to Vancouver, then head east on like 84, I think it is. And then you go up, it's kind of like central southern Washington. It was 4 hours away from me.
That is out there. Wow.
It is out there.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and I rolled up a little late because I was supposed to leave at 3 a.m. and I didn't leave till like 4:30, I think it was. But I got there, and there was nobody at the like sign-in booth. So I started driving into the park towards the parking, and Phil Gregg, who's running it, we talked about him a little bit on the show. He saw me, waved me down. He's like, "Hey, go over here." And so I just went over there, and it happened to be the finish line. Got this great shot of my Forerunner, parked over by the fence for a little bit.
What mountain is that?
Adams.
Good job. Good job.
And so I was right by the finish line, and kind of where people go into the obstacle course. And we're going to talk to Phil in a couple weeks, but I'm just going to share a couple of pictures because it's too cool not to share. So like first rig in, and there's him catching some air on like the first part of the entering the obstacle course after he did the barrels. Then you go over the logs and go through all this yada yada. I think that's Adam's Jeep going through there. That's some barrel action with a turbo Jeep. Some more air. But it was blast. There was also Core Motorsports had some flat track racing going around with some side-by-side guys. And they also had a race, run what you brung race. And so the LMTV over there was racing against a tracker, a lifted tracker.
A geo tracker?
Yeah, a lifted geo tracker. And it was a pretty equal race if you were to compare horsepowers. And it was really close. The tracker like barely won by like 10 feet.
Power to weight ratio?
Yeah, power to weight ratio. It was pretty close. But yeah, I mean, there was some. I stayed with the obstacle course area. I actually got to do some recoveries because I just was positioned really well for some of it. There was a side-by-side that went through the course. and a
Honda Goldwing.
Honda Goldwing.
Yes.
The Honda Goldwing did not finish.
Oh, really?
Did the
No.
guy
It
break
looks
his
like
ankle or?
it looks like
Huh?
he's on knobby tires there.
He is on knobby tires, but he where was it? He dumped it. Where is it? Oh, so you see this log ramp to the right here? It's a log ramp on both sides. He got about halfway up and dumped it, and then it just wouldn't start. And
Oh,
so they ended up just killing it because he was also racing. He raced one of the Jeeps too,
yeah.
but they had fun. I mean, it was a good run. There was some head to head action. There was only like 8 guys there, but it was the first time this event's ever happened.
So is it real quick? Is it a series because they've got
Yes, it
6
is a
races?
series. It is a series. From what I remember, anyone can enter. Phil asked me if I was going to enter. I looked at it and was like, yeah, I've got to drive home and I'd probably break something. So I did not enter. But
I wonder, they've got a 4 bangers only class. I wonder if like I was like, hey, if I unplug 4 of my spark plugs, can I compete in that one?
that would be hilarious. But it was fun. One of the Jeeps broke down. He broke a drive line, and so they're like, Ben, can you go pull him out? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then the Forerunner that was there, the 3rd gen Forerunner, he got turtled.
Oh,
So I pulled him out too.
fun.
So
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Lots of cool people. Made some new friends. I've got Adam, who was racing the camouflage Jeep. He had an older, not super old, but like a 10-year-old Sony digital camera with zoom lens. And I took a bunch of pictures on his camera. So he's going to shoot those over to me. So yeah, I've got a bunch of pictures, met some cool people, and I think we'll have some fun. Honestly, I think you guys should go. I think you guys should compete. I think you'd have fun.
I got it. My truck has to live to go to Moab, so I can't.
Coy, what about you?
I can't risk it.
So there are certain things I'll compete in, certain things I won't, because I don't know how to explain this. It's like with autocross and hill climb racing and stuff. You can only be so fast without being willing to write your vehicle off.
Yeah,
and if I'm not going to be competitive, I'm not really interested. So, and to be competitive, I'm sure I have to be willing to just tear an axle out.
Actually,
so that has to be on the table.
There was a Suzuki Jimny that went through, and when he went through, he was lifted on like
a Jimny,
an older Jimny,
not a Samurai.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was a Samurai. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Samurai. So an older Samurai. He went through, and he just ran it kind of like not a hard pace, and he actually did pretty good in his time because he was picking his lines right and all that. He just kind of putted through it, and he had a pretty good time. Then you had like the guy in the Forerunner that was literally just sending it, but he had a trailer.
That's my problem is like I just if I'm going to be out there, I'm going to show everybody what I'm made of. My testosterone's going to be flowing. My machismo is going to be happening. My friends are going to be rooting for me. I'm the only guy in a Nissan that'll ever be out there doing this. So I'm like, I got to show them what Nissan can do. And yeah, the whole front end of my truck's probably going to get ripped off.
It's not only that, it's like when you get to some wildly specific kind of racing, like vehicles need to be purpose built essentially for almost every kind of sport you're doing. And so it's like, I need sway bars because I'm going to have to rip around some barrels and stuff. So I now all this stuff I'm going to think about. And if I'm going to be, I'm not going to do it once. Like if I'm going to build it, I'm going to build it. So, yeah. And I don't really want to. So I'm not going to. I would go watch.
Well, I want to. I just don't have like the capital to rebuild my truck after I've ruined it. But
Yeah,
I would love to do that, and I'm sure Coy would love to do that if he
I
had
I wanted
time
to
and
go out
money
there
to
so
dedicate.
bad, but I don't want to repair my rig either.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that if I had a side by side, I'd be interested in trying.
So,
There you
the
go. Yeah.
funny thing about that is there was only one side by side that went through it, and it was kind of sad. And I think what it was is it wasn't because of the core race that was going on, which was more flat track, so smaller tires and all of that. It wasn't really shown off to those guys as much. Honestly, I think those guys would have had a blast in there.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure that a flat track built side by side is not going to work well on obstacles. Like, you know, I
Well,
mean,
but I mean, there was just some regular side by sides too. Like all they had to do was have a larger set of tires on versus their smaller tires.
Well, we're going to talk to Phil about this more
Yeah.
when we get him on. So let's jump to the listener feedback.
All right. So Lifted Xterra, who's actually in the comments tonight, only been listening for a few weeks. By far, the best podcast I've come across. Andy's funny as hell. Keep up the good work, guys. Also, I can't remember who the Nissan guy is. Might be that Aaron guy right there. But us first gen Xterra WD22 owners need help. We've only got a small handful of companies to choose from when we're getting aftermarket parts, which doesn't make sense as there's a decent following for the platform. The second gen owners in 50 seem to get all the love and support. Help us get more companies involved in making the goodies we need.
I know that there is a decent following for the for the first gen Xteras, but I don't think it's big enough, and those vehicles are quote unquote so old now. Um, some of them are 25 years old that it's going to be tough to get anybody to start making parts in any sort of capacity. Um,
Yeah.
especially since it doesn't have a Toyota nameplate. It's really tough. There are some out there, but not a lot.
They have reached that disposable hero range now, though.
Correct. And yeah, I had
honestly, like a lot of the days of a small shops that made like specific parts is kind of going away. Like even FJ Cruisers, which is a Toyota, which is massively parts compatible with Forerunners and so forth. There is a ton of products that just have disappeared because you know there's not that many of them. And
Yeah.
companies like CBI, they make a lot of Toyota bumpers and stuff. Like I talked to them when they were still in production, and they're just like, they don't. There's not enough. We're not going to bother making bumpers for them. They don't make enough of them. Like, and so I mean that the more of these small companies get bought by these massive conglomerates and just get sucked in, and they're just little subsidiaries that they just aren't gonna.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. Other
Yeah,
than like Leroy Overlanding makes some Nissan parts. Like a little shop like him might be interested, but
yeah.
that's about it.
Badlands says that they make parts for Colorados. He started his own business, started making parts. He does it for Colorados. He said it's tough being a big piece of a tiny pie. And the last part I'm going to say, and please don't take any offense to this because I am totally in this camp, but when you own an inexpensive vehicle, when it doesn't cost much to own it, usually a lot of the owners don't want to spend a lot of money and they're not willing to put the money out to buy the parts that they want people to make. Way back in the day when Honda Civics were really cool, I couldn't afford Honda Civics, so I had Ford Escorts, and nobody made Escort stuff, and everybody in the Escort community was the cheapest, most frugal people in the world. Somebody would finally build a part for the Escort, and then no one would buy it because it was too expensive. And I see that with the Nissan community a whole lot. I know Leroy Overlanding and I have talked about that Nissan owners are cheap. They bought the Nissans because they were cheaper than the Toyotas, or they couldn't afford the Toyotas. I was in that same boat, and it's just tough. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you even see that with like the fourth gen Forerunners because they're older. They're the bastard brothers of the FJs and the 5th gens. There's just not as nearly as much support, and then a company makes something like a snorkel, and not as many people buy it, even though they've been screaming for a snorkel for it for 20 years.
Kind of like when everybody's like, they should make a diesel Titan or diesel Jeep Gladiator, and they're like,
there you go.
hey,
Good point.
this is what you guys
Really good
want,
point.
and then no one buys it.
Yeah, Jeep, like the biggest name in off-road. they make a diesel Jeep, and they discontinue it 2 years later because not enough people buy it. So same with manual transmissions. Everybody wants manuals.
A lot of money in being able to have that, and sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah, there's a makeout session going on right now in our live group between Lifted Xterra and Leroy over at Landing.
Wait, Lifted Xterra is in Southern Delaware. Is Delaware big enough state to like say you're in
call it Southern?
I don't know. I feel like you're flexing. Weird flex, bro.
Yeah. He says an entire snorkel kit for the first gen Xterra runs around $800. That is very expensive. That's crazy expensive. So I'm not sure why that costs so much. Maybe they just have all their money into the engineering portion of it. So I don't know.
Yep. So yeah, that's I don't know. It's hard, especially when small companies, big companies.
That's what she said.
Yep.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. Delaware is less than 100 miles top to bottom.
The only reason I really know it's small is I used to when I was young. I had friends from Canada, and we'd go back and forth about America kicking Canada's butt. And I always be like, we could invade and take over your country with the military forces that are currently in the state of Delaware. That was my flex on them always, because it was like the smallest state on the top of my head.
That's amazing. Yeah, my daily commute, the time that I commute, I could probably traverse Delaware in just my daily commute. Yeah. Patriot Patch. We love those guys. Make sure to go shop with them. Good stuff.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
So news of the 6th gen 4Runner has dropped. We'll be doing an episode in a few weeks for that. So stay tuned for that. But we wanted to, make sure we acknowledge to you guys that, hey, we saw it's out. We're just kind of building up an episode and making sure we do it right.
Yeah, that'll drop in like 2 weeks. So stay tuned. We're going to go in depth.
We should do our in-depth 4Runner one, and then, but just in-depth Land Cruiser, new Land Cruiser. Just every time we use the word Land Cruiser, just ad lib in 4Runner. And I think that we'd be pretty close.
Pretty close. I mean, we already did the Land Cruiser one, so we could just go back and like maybe Google AI assistant could go back and just dub in 4Runner every time we said Land Cruiser.
Yeah, that, or it's gonna be a lot of work for Ben. I'll just give you like 3 4Runners, like 4Runner, 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 and then you just pick for those 3.
Just crop them in.
Yeah, just crop them in. Anytime I said Land Cruiser, Aaron will do the same. You just grab 3 takes, and then we drop that episode because I'm sure it's the same thing.
That's awesome. All right. Well, our next,
very happy. Let's just say that.
Our next news is that the Nissan Xterra, man, we got a lot of Xterra talk today. The Nissan Xterra could return as a true off-roader, is what CarBuzz says, and Autoblog says Nissan considering Xterra revival, it's got to be authentic. So, there's a growing number of options when it comes to picking an off-road vehicle. The fan favorite Jeep Wrangler gets serious competition from the likes of the Bronco and the new Land Cruiser. There are also trucks in the mix too, with the new Ranger Raptor, Toyota Tacoma, and Nissan doesn't want to miss out on this trend, which could mean the return of the Xterra. Nissan Xterra hasn't been sold in the US since 2015 model year, when the company decided it no longer fit with the brand's lineup, which I think is bogus. I think they could have been selling. I think they could have been selling Xterras this whole time.
Oh yeah,
But that was nearly a decade ago, and a lot has changed. There are not only more off-road vehicles, there are even off-road trims like the Wilderness lineup for Subaru, Trail Sport from Honda. It's a good time to bring back the Xterra. While the
Don't
Xterra
forget the
hasn't,
Trail Charger from Prius, Toyota.
that's right, the Trail Charger. While the Xterra hasn't been confirmed, Nissan America's senior VP and chief planning officer told Autoblog that there is something in development. Is Nissan going to style it after an older 4Runner? LOL. That's funny.
Travis, yes, you know that they will.
So they say that there's something in development. He acknowledged that the company is working on adding an off-road vehicle to its lineup. This wouldn't be just a Pathfinder with beefier wheels and a slightly higher ride height. And this is not my words. This is the article. They say, which would be fine. No, that would not be fine. The Nissan Pathfinder is not body on frame. It is a unibody grocery getting soccer mommy mobile. That's not okay. So shame on you, Autoblog. Shame.
Doesn't Suzuki have and Nissan have relationships? Haven't they in the past?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because I'm like, I mean, they had in the Car Buzz, they had this picture from their future lineup video, and I mean that could be a Jimny right there, right?
No, it's way too big.
It is pretty big.
Yeah,
that's clearly just the new Frontier body style with in an SUV trim. Like
Leroy Engineering says only with the Equator. So the Equator was a Suzuki's rebadged Nissan Frontier. They said it wouldn't exactly compete with the Bronco. Instead, it would be a true off-road vehicle with genuine capability. So are they saying the Bronco isn't a true off-road with genuine capability?
Maybe the person only can think of like the Bronco Sport. They think that's what the Bronco is.
I don't know. It's Autoblog. Sometimes they do great work. Sometimes it's not the greatest. Bringing the Xterra back would be a great way for Nissan to reintroduce a much-loved vehicle from the past with all the modern technologies of today's off-road champs. And then it goes on to say, could the hyper adventure concept that debuted last year give a hint to what we might see in the new Xterra? And there's the pictures on the screen of the hyper adventure concept. HAC hyper adventure. That's hack. And this car is not. This is a hack of. That's not an Xterra. There's nothing like an Xterra. That's just like a soft rotor, all wheel drive. Take it skiing.
It's
vehicle.
a crossover.
There's nothing Xterra about that. So I hope not.
Like one of the race cars in my son's Android tablet, crappy racing.
Yeah. So that hyper adventure concept was an EV with a high capacity battery to make camping out of it easier. How does that make?
Where are you going to camp in this? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. In fact, I'm not even going to read the rest of this article. That part's just dumb. So the end. You're up, Coy.
I'm glad this article got you so enraged.
All
right, guys. The next article comes from Autoblog. Toyota FJ Cruiser reboot rumored to sit on the Hilux Champ chassis. Toyota took a concept called the IMV0 to the 2023 Toyota Mobility Show, a small chassis cab pickup designed to lure buyers in emerging markets by being rugged, versatile, and inexpensive. A production version entered the Thai market a month after the show with the name Hilux Champ at a price equal to about $13,000 US dollars. That price is achieved by selling a truck that's 70% finished, the remainder being in the use-specific upfit of customer needs and pays for it, despite at least one reviewing calling the truck perfect and several contenders commenters writing some variation of "I'd buy it right now." Are we highlighting something that I need to read here, guys?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I was reading along with you because it's a really big paragraph.
Yeah. At least one reviewing calling the truck perfect. Several commenters writing some variation of "I'd buy right now." The Hilux Champ has almost zero chance of making it to the States, according to Japanese outlet Best Car. However, the Hilux Champ's ladder frame might visit our shores underneath the body of the reborn FJ Cruiser. As a refresher, gossip about an FJ Cruiser left off with a shadowy image during Toyota's presentation last August for the new Land Cruiser. When the automaker exec Simon Humphreys discussed making the Land Cruiser more affordable and more accessible to people around the world, a slide showed 3 silhouetted vehicles. The vehicle on the upper left looking like an evolved version of Toyota's compact cruiser EV concept from 2021. That concept is a flirtation with a revival of the FJ Cruiser. The teased image sat higher off the ground and on much larger tires than the concept and wore a spare wheel on the tailgate. The dimensions look grander than the compact cruiser. Back to the Hilux Champ. Front fascia and front fender looks as well as dimensions are where it overlaps with the FJ Cruiser in the Venn diagram. The Champ comes in at either 185.2 inches long with a 108-inch short wheelbase form, or 73 inches wide and 68.3 inches high. The 2014 FJ Cruiser was 181 inches long on a 106-inch wheelbase, 75 inches wide and 72 inches high. So far, this seems eminently doable, although Best Car's anticipated specs for the reboot presage an even smaller off-roader at 177.2 inches long on 108-inch wheelbase, 72 inches wide, 72 inches high. The question is whether this potential Land Cruiser FJ on this particular architecture will make it to the U.S. market, or if Toyota has a different vision for North American model. Our FJ has been predicted to be an upscale model at the opposite end of the rugged spectrum than the Hilux Champ, one that might be better served by the TNGA-F platform that the new Lexus GX and US spec Land Cruiser sit on. Whatever the new FJ debuts, no matter the market, Toyota is certain to be swamped with enough questions about a US arrival that it will offer something better than a rumor. So there we go.
That's a lot. That's a lot of words and a lot of numbers.
Yeah, that was a lot of speculation and literally
speculation.
Anything else?
Yeah. Well,
on the screen here, I have a picture from that Dave tease. Looks interesting.
I don't know how they do it because they just shortened the Land Cruiser and they're not getting rid of the 4Runner because clearly they just dropped the new 4Runner. I don't know how they could slot that in there.
If they slot it in, it has to be an EV. I feel like if they came out with an FJ Cruiser that was all electric and was halfway decent, they might find a market for that. But yeah, they're really competing with their own Land Cruiser sales if they bring out an FJ Cruiser, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah. And then they cancel it again because it's not getting enough sales, or one of them.
Yep. All right. Well, we're only 45 minutes in. Should we talk for another 15, 20 minutes before we get to the main topic, or should we just jump into it?
Let's just do it. Let's skip Ben's article before he butchers it.
Skip Ben's article. He already did his article. All right. So our main topic tonight is hypothetical rigs from Copart. So I don't know where we got our money from for this one.
It's our leftover from our last batch of
Is it-
money.
Well, today is tax day, so maybe we got a big refund. I don't know about you guys.
I
sure
do
you
have
got a
3
refund
children.
right about
That is a
now.
lot of taxes. Those
I
child
just pay a
taxes.
ton of taxes in, and then I get some of the stuff that I paid in back. So I don't really consider it a refund.
Oh, you
Like,
don't
it was
you don't get
my-
a it's your money and you want it now. Yeah, I hear you.
I wanted it when I earned it, like a year
Yeah.
before, but apparently that's not doable.
What you can do what you can do is not pay your taxes and then at the end of the year just pay it all at once.
They actually
Then-
fine you extra for that. So
Then
Yeah.
you've got control. But I heard it's only like $160 or something. That's not a big fine.
what I want them to do is like they do hold my money for a year, and it can be thousands of dollars. I'd like some interest on my when it's like, oh hey, here's
No.
$7,000 back that you
Oh,
paid
no.
in. It's like, bro,
No.
interest rates are pretty high, so you just had my money all
Yeah.
year. I could have had that in the bank.
Yeah. Travis in the comments says it's probably an inheritance from OJ. Very good possibility.
Yep.
I believe Ben was holding onto a glove for him or something, so I think he was paying him for
I
storage.
may have used some, hot water to shrink a glove.
I've had his knife collection for years. It's beautiful.
Wow.
So
That's all. It was really nice of you to store it for him too.
yeah, it's probably gonna be worth a lot of money now.
My dad did let him borrow his white Bronco.
Yeah. All right. Well, hypothetical rigs from Copart. So in this scenario, we're all buying some vehicles from Copart, and we're going to get them fixed up. And there's a adventure park down in Texas, so we had to buy them near Texas if we could get them near Texas. And we're going to fix them up in a Buc-ee's parking lot, bolt some stuff on, and we're going to go have some fun. So first I'll tell you about Copart, and then Coy's going to talk to you about the adventure park. So Copart, if you don't know, is a place that you can just buy wrecked cars online. There's also other stuff besides cars. There's also cars that aren't wrecked, but usually they're insurance auction cars. So it is the leading online vehicle auction platform that connects buyers and sellers worldwide. They specialize in salvaged and used vehicles, offering a wide range of options from cars and trucks to motorcycles and even boats. I saw trailers and
All the
equipment. Yeah, just everything. They've got an extensive network of locations and an easy to use online platform. Copart facilitates the buying and selling of vehicles for individuals, dealerships, and businesses. Now, I have personally purchased a vehicle through Copart, and I did not have a good experience at all. So I do not recommend. But maybe if I was a business that was buying more and more, maybe I wouldn't have had such a bad experience. I don't know. Maybe if I would have read the super fine print that said they were going to charge me up to Yahoo and force me to purchase what I bought, or force me what I put money on after the auction closed and made me the high bidder, even though I was way underneath. I don't know. To buy it now. I guess I'm starting to get a little disgruntled with this episode. What's going on, Aaron? I need to see a therapist. Anyways, that's what Copart is. Coy, tell us about the off-road park.
Sorry, I've been going. So yeah, the park. It is the Merus, Merus. I hope I'm saying that right, or else butchering it in a fun way. The Merus Adventure Park. The park size is 5,412 acres, but because of elevation gain, so on and so forth, it actually has 7,500 plus usable acres. Because
That's
acres,
almost 50% more.
yeah, that's a lot of steep up and
Wow.
downs. Yeah, so that's a lot of side hills. You know what I'm saying? Measured out with the calculations of huge total elevation gains throughout the land, which gives a measurement of actual usable terrain of the park, comes out to over 7,500 actual usable land. There are 8 plateau peninsulas on the property besides the main canyon that creates massive privacy, a much bigger field of land, and countless hidden places to explore. At this time, they've only explored about 50% of the property. Millions of years of erosion has created incredible colors and a variety of surface materials. As you explore the park, you'll traverse sand, sandstone, red dirt, rock, stone, clay, and more in rapidly shifting environments that creates a very unique experience on the trails that's hard to find elsewhere. The signature terrain is the red dirt floor of the canyon. If you've never wheeled in the red dirt, you are in for a real treat by mixing all the elements to constantly challenge your skill and be in awe of the beauty of the canyon. All right, guys. So
all I can think of is the video game we're playing. As you're like describing this, it feels
Yeah.
like you're describing the video game we're going out to play Mud Runner.
Yeah. All right. And while we're there, we're not just going to play around the park. We're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to do the Trail Recon Challenge. And what is the Trail Recon Challenge, you might ask? And why would you do a challenge in totaled repoed, junk vehicles? Good question. We haven't asked ourselves that yet. The Trail Recon Challenge is an off-road overlanding challenge created by the Mirus Adventure Park owner, Dirk Van Reen, and Brad Cowlitz of Trail Recon. I believe that's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And this incredible 3-day, 2-night journey to test your skills and equipment in one of the most beautiful canyons in North America, the Palo Duro Canyon. The challenge can be run on one of 2 routes, the challenge or the extreme challenge. You will descend 850 feet into the earth and navigate through 4 geological layers of exposed dirt, sand, rock, stone, and the legendary red dirt, and face more obstacles than you can count along the way, with some of the most incredibly beautiful scenery in Texas throughout the Palo Duro Canyon. When you complete the challenge, and when they say when, I think they should say if you complete the challenge, you will receive a one-of-a-kind serialized coin and badge to show the world that you've completed one of the most epic off-road challenges in America. These are high-quality metal and stand out compared to other badges in size, color, and quality. One thing we constantly hear at Mirus from visitors across the country is how much their skill improves from running our trails for 2 to 3 days. We have designed and built these trails to be fully engaged to be a fully engaging experience. Our trails have obstacle after obstacle after obstacle to keep the fun and adrenaline flowing and create a one-of-a-kind experience. Both routes take 3 days and 2 nights to complete, with a total trail running time of around 15 hours for the challenge and around 19 hours for the extreme challenge. Running either one of these challenges will greatly increase your level of skill and experience due to the vast number of obstacles and challenges along the way. You can choose to camp along the route, overlanding style, or you can stay in an RV site, glamping site, or cabin. And if you don't want to haul all your gear on the trails and run lighter, choose to set up a base camp on the rim of the beautiful Palo Duro Canyon. We also have full hookup RV spots available on the rim. We allow 10 rigs to run the Trail Recon Challenge each weekend on either a Thursday to Saturday or Friday to Sunday timeline. You can opt to run with others, and we can contact individuals to run the routes together, which is recommended to be able to spot each other and help with recoveries and build some epic new friendships.
Definitely a way to get some new friends.
I think I really want to go to this park at some point, but I got to admit that the badge feels a little bit. Remember the overland badges you could get? I don't remember. They were all numberized.
Overland Bound?
Yes, Overland
Bound. I went to an Overland Bound meet one time in the Northwest. I'm not a member, but I just went. And a dude walked up and was like, "Hey, 47635," and like spouted out his Overland Bound member number. And I was like, 007. And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Number 7." And he's like, "Oh, wow." And then I just kind of meandered off.
Nice.
He thinks I'm number 7.
That is amazing. All right. Well, Ben, we did a lot of talking. What can we make you go first? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So
right.
I am a terrible person, and
No, you're
I
not. You're
decided
a good person.
I'm a terrible person. I decided that I
Never
was
say that about yourself, Ben. Me and Aaron will say that about you for you.
you already do it for me, man. So
I'll run your photos for you, Ben, though.
all right, so I decided I was going to get a 2021 Jeep Gladiator Mojave Edition from Houston, Texas, which is I did the Google Maps, and we're looking about 9 hours away. So it's a running driving. It's got a dent. It looks like it was repoed or something. It's got a flat tire, so I'd need to get a new tire or just repair it and call it good.
Those
And
look
it's
like at least 37s.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, all I have to do is throw a winch on it, and I'm good to go, right?
Well, it's got a winch tray. It looks like a
Yeah.
Chinesium bumper, but
They have
Yeah.
Harbor Freights in Texas, I'm sure.
Yeah. We're balling on a budget here since I spent the entire budget on the vehicle, but I mean,
look
hey,
at all those lights, though.
I've got all the lights I need, and then some.
You've got some light. You got enough lights for everybody.
And then all I've got to do is slap a winch on there, and I'm good to go.
It's Ben. It's an Autobot transformer.
Oh,
Did you know that?
there we go. I've got an Autobot.
It's a robot in disguise, Ben.
It's
So,
gonna, like,
I don't
talk
know
to you
why a
while you're
robot
driving.
would pick such an ugly disguise, but still.
So
You put some air in that right rear tire, though, for sure.
just a little bit, but I mean, hey, it's running. It's ready to go. It's a Mojave.
Did you know?
So,
Did you know a Hispanic person owned this before you?
oh yeah, yeah. I can't speak all that. I'd have to get that switched back to English,
Yeah, you'll have to change the language on the cluster there.
or just run it. You know,
Yeah, just
and
run
it
it.
starts yelling at me in Spanish. I'll be like, "No hablo español."
How
Sí,
do you
señor.
how do you scream, transform, and roll out in Spanish?
That's what Google Translate is for. This looks like it's in pretty decent condition. I am curious. This picture right here, driver side footwell. There's something like a connector, something either plugged in or ripped out down there. Any idea what that is?
That's what
No,
happens when you hotwire it, I'm guessing.
Could be.
that is a possibility. But it says it starts and drives forward, which is a good enough way to get going. I didn't see a check engine light on that dash picture.
Well, it's just sitting with the keys on. All the lights are on, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Avenger light. Yeah. So it probably needs an accessory battery.
Oh, is that what that A with the circle and the exclamation point means?
I believe so. Which you can get it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I could definitely do that in a
I
Buc-ee's
bet
parking.
Bucky sells them, and since we'll be in their parking lot.
Yeah, we're good. It's a piece of cake. This looks like a great rig for you, Ben.
Yep, and then I can literally, they've got the cabins available, so I don't have to like super overlandy it up. It should be trail ready as a Jeep,
Yeah,
Mojave. Because
you
I
might
believe
want to get another light bar or two for this rack thing that's in the bed, because those are light racks. So you might want to put a light bar front and rear of that.
I was looking at Harbor Freight just released some new lights, so I might put some new Harbor Freight lights, off-road lights on there.
And since you'll be owning a transformer at this point, it only makes sense that you would save the world from aliens, and we will be in Texas. So if you just drive a little bit farther south,
wrong type of aliens.
Yeah. You might also put like some of those wakeboard boat radio speaker pods. You put some of those pods in that back end, you can blast the tunes.
I really think what he needs is some of those LED whips on each side that we can crank with music, and
that changed color with the music.
Yeah, they pulse and beat, and we can go back to the campground. Even though I'm sure quiet hours like 10 o'clock, he should just crank music till about
Yeah, you can
11.
do that.
I would probably buy a Harbor Freight angle grinder and trim off those steps.
Yeah.
That would probably be the main
I would
thing.
terrain clearance those, but
Yeah. I mean, this thing looks the part, but are the parts the right parts? We're going to find out at that.
and since this is Copart, and you could just take the hardtop off and sell it and then get some extra money, throw your winch on, get those light up whips, It's not like you need a roof on your Copart vehicle. Yeah, get an angry eye grill.
Sell the doors. You don't need those anyways, right?
That's true. You could part half this Jeep out and make your money back.
Yeah.
You're in Texas, you don't need fender flares, That rear bumper is going to get in the way anyways. In fact, the whole bed might. So I think
your bumper's got recovery plates.
Are they in the bumper
Yeah.
or are they built to the frame?
I'm not 100%.
I'm gonna guess they pass through. I don't know that, but
so we sell the bed and a few things, get you just some taillights right on the end of the frame, and get you a new set of tires and a winch. Like, I think we're in.
Yeah. Balling on a budget.
Chuck says to weld the diff, but
it's Mojave. It's got lockers.
Yeah, she's gonna have lockers.
But I might have to re-weld the diff.
Tell the cat. True. Why not cut the cat out?
Yes.
I don't think they have. Is there even a place to sell them in Texas? I think that's a Northwest thing, but
I'm sure I could find a scrapyard.
I guess any place where there's fentanyl, there's a place to sell catalytic converters.
Yeah. Travis says the Mojave is rear locker only, so yeah, maybe weld the front diff.
Might be worth it. Or
I can't tell in this picture.
The little shop too. Mojave's a Rubicon. Oh, that's a good question because it has the sway bar.
Yeah, I don't know Jeeps well enough. I'm glad I didn't pick that one.
I'm checking.
We'll do some research. Somebody's going to research it.
I'm looking.
All right. Cody, you want to go next or you want me to go next?
You go next. You do this.
All right. Okay. So somehow I ended up with a Ford Bronco. Sorry, Ford Raptor. I don't know why I said Bronco. I was looking at Broncos. But yeah, this one's got some rear end damage. It's actually in pretty good shape. It looks like it's already on 37s. It's gonna also need a tire. But just that back corner of the bed's a little wiped out. Take it to a shop, get an alignment done. I'm not even gonna bother fixing the bed. I'm gonna just throw a tail light on there and call it a day. I'll probably beat it up on some rock, so I'll just favor that side of the truck.
That's an aluminum bed. We can just scrapyard it,
Yep.
Oh, I don't need to scrap the bed yet. What if I need to carry something back there?
We get some Rubbermaid totes and zip tie them to the frame.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep that bed on there. And like I said, I'll favor that side when I got to squeeze through a tight obstacle. It'll just be a little rubber rail. The bed is scrapped no matter what if I dent it a little more or not. That's fine. I'm not too worried.
Can't wait to be spotting you and be like, you're good. And you'll just start hearing this noise. But keep going. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Keep going. Leroy Engineering says just enough damage to not feel bad about scratching it. Absolutely. Yeah. So my truck has 58,000 miles on it. It's a 2020 Raptor. People be putting lots of miles on their rigs down in Texas, maybe because it's such a big state. Let's see here. It's got the 3.5 twin turbo in it, so I'm familiar with that engine. I'm probably not going to even mess with the engine. I'm going to just run it, put a tire on it, a tail light, and I'm going to just run this truck. It's going to do a lot of the things we're going to want to do. And what it doesn't want to do, it's going to end up doing anyways. So I'm not too worried about it. She's got a salvage title, bro. No worries. That's what makes this game so easy to play.
And it's
2017
Ford, so you
Ford
already know how to
Raptor
treat it.
salvage title. Small electrical issues.
It's going to have some high clearance fender cuts in the back once we're done. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to buy a cordless Sawzall and a cordless grinder while we're at Harbor Freight.
And all you need is a tail light. I'm sure we can get one of those from Harbor Freight too.
Yeah. Chase asks what happens. Did they jump it? I think someone clipped the back end. It probably someone was turning when they shouldn't have and whacked it. So
It might
Uh,
need
Chuck-
to get your axle.
This is a Ford Raptor that's in Texas. They for sure jumped it. Now, whether they damaged this jumping it, unknown. But yes, it's been
that's a
jumped.
good point.
Like that, for sure.
Chuck Holt says the Mojave has a rear locker, no front locker or sway bar disconnects, and the suspension is pretty good compared to a base model. So, yeah, Eric is suggesting shopping at JC Whitney for a taillight. You could just get one of those pairs for like $25. You go to Harbor Freight and get those like tow lights that you put on a trailer and plug into your flat 4-pin hitch. I'll just get a pair of those.
It would be
I can't
faster and
stick 'em on the
easier just
bed.
to have a screwdriver and find another one in the Buc-ee's parking lot. You know, it's just the F-150 tail light. It'll work.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm sure we could get overnight one on Amazon.
Yeah. So
I
there's
mean,
my Raptor. I'm excited about it.
And it's,
I also
and it's
plan
in
to jump
East
it.
Houston. It's in East Houston too, so we get to go together.
Oh yeah, we get to pick it up at the same yard. Coy, what'd you get?
All right. You want to pop a picture up here? I went with a GX 470. Oh, she's a beaut. Nice Lexus. I believe it's a 2005. Now, I couldn't find what I wanted in Texas, so I found this one in South Carolina. And for about $2,000, I have her shipped on over to Texas. So as long as my shipper follows the instructions and unloads it at the Buc-ee's parking lot, looks like I may be the only one there with a V8, sadly. But yeah.
How
so
many turbos does yours have though?
What do I have? 8 cylinders. Why do I need turbos? Looks like it has an ARB bumper
point.
already, some lights.
That's an Iron Man.
Is it Iron Man? Oh yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
It's got an
the
Iron Man
decal
bumper.
on it.
I'm gonna order me a cheap winch to bring with me. I'm already on steel rims. I think it had 240,000 miles. There was no reason given as to why it was in this lot. Could be assuming with that many miles, it's not a repo. So I'm guessing that it was stolen, and that's why it's on Steelies, because they took the wheels and tires after they stole it. But I don't know. It does supposedly start, so we'll find out when it shows up. It's got a set of sliders on it as well. It's lifted.
You're the only one with sliders.
Yeah.
BT Dubs.
It's lifted. Looks like 3-inch lift. No idea what brand. Sure would be nice if it showed up on like Fox or Icon or something, but I'm not keeping my hopes up. I'm hoping for working air conditioning at this point.
They've got Iron Man bumper, probably Iron Man sliders.
There's a chance it's Iron Man, yeah. Which I can work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's already got all the Overlander decals, just like it says here. So yeah, she's a beaut.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw a winch in. I'm gonna send it as is. I plan on ripping
that rear
bumper off, but
I was just gonna say that rear bumper is coming off on the trail. That's for sure.
For sure. I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
It's just so you guys know, it's like $250 to get into this park. So it's not. That's also, we got to come up with that money. Eric Ugers asked if Lexus racing development is a thing, and no, it is not. I don't.
Lard. Are you sure it's lard isn't a thing? We got turd and lard.
Lard is a thing. It's for the guys that own Lexuses.
Yeah, it's a made up thing in their head. Have you heard of Toyota Ultimate Racing Development?
Ultimate,
the new upgrade.
It's the upgrade, huh?
That's the
Nice.
TURD series. It's like the pro. It's like the pro of the pro. Toyota, TRD
we-
Pro. It's
we-
like the next.
we-
It's the ultimate pro
We saved that news article for next week.
for next April 1st.
Yes.
Yeah, the turd. Yeah, for sure. So this is what I went with, guys. I kind of stuck with what I know. It's basically a V8 FJ Cruiser. I'm gonna bring myself extra front CV shaft, and I'm gonna buy a winch, and I think I'm just gonna send it as is. If I have enough money, I would like different tires, but I'm not gonna push it.
I was thinking, like, I've looked at the pictures of this park. I haven't watched it in videos, but I looked at a bunch of pictures. There's nothing to winch off of. We could
Somebody's
winch
got to make it up
ourselves.
first. That's why we send you in the Raptor
Yeah.
full send. You
Okay.
launch it up there, and that gives us a winch anchor.
Okay. All right. I could see that. There just isn't like much for trees in the pictures. It looks like quite a bit of rock crawling type stuff. Oh, the comments are so good.
If I, as a previous Honda owner, if I hear that joke one more time, man, like I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur, kind of thing.
Yeah, but you're also known for telling that joke too. So
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean it's all good.
Yeah.
I like to make comments.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Anyways,
guys?
I don't.
We're gonna be
As
able to
far as
complete this
recover,
trail?
absolutely. I like Gambler 500 cars can go through some pretty crazy stuff by just pushing and pulling and smashing and dragging. We're making it through this trail, and it says 19 hours to do the extreme. I'd like to earn like a extra coin for doing it all in one day rather than camping 2 nights. Ben has plenty of lights.
It's true, and we don't care about body damage, which puts us one up on a lot of people.
Yes.
I mean, I've got desert running equipment to be running fast.
Here's my question: do we pull into some parking lot and knock all the glass out from the inside just so it doesn't get in the rig later and cut us? Like just preemptively knock all the windows out, so that we're not doing it on the trail.
I don't see the windows getting broken unless we're tipping it on its side.
See, I just plan on taking the
Just,
door.
Aaron, you don't seem like you like to party like me. Like I plan on competing. Like if 19 hours what they suggest, that's like the GPS time. I want to do it in 15. Like
absolutely. But like there's no trees to lean against to break them out. Ben doesn't have any doors, or a top, and he can fold his windshield down. Ben's actually gonna probably die when he rolls his truck over.
I am disabling my airbags because if somebody can't make it, I'm gonna give you a bump. Like,
yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, and I don't want the airbag hitting me in the face when I'm trying to bump a Raptor over something.
Well, maybe we need to find some sand dunes on our way there, and I'll disable mine too.
Disable your airbags. I've seen quite a few Raptor guys disable their airbags.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they're famous for it on the internet. Yeah, I think we'd make it, and I think we could definitely beat that 19 hours.
Absolutely, we can, especially if it's the 3 of us working together as a team.
Yep.
I.e., pushing and smashing our way through.
I honestly, I don't think we'd have to push and smash each other.
Probably not.
If we do this, here's something that I suggest we do because I've always wanted to do this. We get like the RV tow bars and we hook it to every vehicle, and we hook all 3 of us together at any challenging obstacle, and we just turn ourselves into a train.
Like centipede our way through.
Yeah, at least 2 of us are going to have traction at any given point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It would be fun.
I would love to test that. Although we may have to change it out from like the ball coupler and weld on like a max coupler or something, so you got the real good articulation.
Chuck Holt # team butt punch. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, we'll get you some stickers printed up.
Yes.
Phil wants us to make sure that we don't ruin him completely. That way we can bring him back and we can race him in his race series. So Chuck says he used to do that in the snow all the time. That's interesting, Chuck.
See,
I've done that.
I've read
I've done
like
it one time.
Canadian internet stuff where guys were doing that in the snow, and I guess it works super awesome until you get out of sync, and then you'll go, one vehicle will basically just bend and jump into the back of the other if somebody stops real sudden and the one behind it's still flooring it. So apparently you have to be careful, but I guess it works really good.
I'm sure I've told the story before, but I did it with my LMTV and a friend's LMTV on the backside of Mount Adams. We had them connected together. So worked pretty good.
So do we need to make like the tow bar thing now?
I'm in.
I want to try it now. I think there's
I'll try it too.
Just like
we'll
something
just go to Harbor Freight and buy a bunch of those.
Our D-ring shackles and then goes like a little coupler.
Eric says it sounds like a great way for the guy in the rear to save on fuel. You just shut your truck off and you just let him drag you.
Mojave Raptor 470. Yeah. It's the Ford Jeep Toyota train.
Travis says that the Grand Tour did it in the snow also, and it didn't work so well for him. I don't remember that. I'm going to have to look that up. I don't remember that at all. Very interesting.
Chuck, if you have videos of you guys doing that, post it on the Pavement Hater page, please. I'd very much like to see that.
Yeah, I would like to see that too.
And
I'll try to find the weekend that I did it with my LMTV, my phone locked up, and because we didn't have cell signal, I couldn't get it unlocked at all, and I got exactly 0 pictures the entire weekend. So
is that the one where we have like the video of the FJ? I thought we had a picture of that.
There's pictures, but I was only able to get those pictures from my friend. So I like, rather than me being able to like have 50 pictures on my phone, I have like 3 pictures.
Gotcha.
So that was the time that we went wheeling in the snow. We brought a hot tub and we filled it with creek water, and it took like 14 hours to warm the creek water up hot enough to get 5 people in this hot tub, and all of our knees were touching.
That
because it was a really small hot tub. Yeah.
I'd tell you it was my knee that was touching you anyways.
All right.
Comments are on fire tonight with this though. Speed and power would have worked if Clarkson wasn't a part of the chain. And that's true.
Chuck says he'll dig around. He quit around 2002-ish when we all got rigs we actually cared about. So I'm guessing they must have been doing it with Jeep XJs back then, because nobody cares about those.
That's for sure.
That's fair. Well, next week we've got West Virginia Overland coming on.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. We don't get a lot of East Coast stuff, so for our East Coast listeners, we're gonna have someone from your neck of the woods coming on to talk about what they do back there. So make sure you tune in. I don't understand that comment. Off-road toy outfitter says, I'm hearing grind hard plumbing, places you can't even walk. No, maybe he's talking about grind hard plumbing is those guys that do the Hot Wheels, and they put like engines in the Hot Wheels cars, and they put legit suspensions under them, and they just do a lot of crazy stuff. So yeah.
They were Rise.
Okay, well, that's almost like an XJ. We want to thank everybody that listens to us weekly, and also those who watch us live on YouTube. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks for sharing us with your friends. We got a couple new faces on the show tonight. We appreciate that. Help us grow, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
The centipede.
Off-road centipede.